Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, NBA Straya, how are you going? Here you going? Are you good? You should be. Why is that, Jim? TGIF, am I right? I'll tell you what, I would hate to be a tin in about an hour and a half. You're going to get deleted. And also, basketball, bye-bye to Denver and Atlanta. What a world. It is Friday. May the 1st be with you. I'm your host, James Clements. This is NBA Straya here in the Larryama Studios. And obviously the big news today, the Hustle Player of the Year was announced. Now, we had the 3-game Sixers, each one more chaotic than the next. Boston Phillies going to Game 7, baby! We're getting an all-time Knickerbockers beatdown on the Hawks. And Minnesota knock out the Nuggets without anybody playing. No Ayo, no Ant-Man, no Dante, no problems. Amazing stuff. So we're going to wrap those up in the game wraps. We've got That's on the Knife, Old Mate, No Mate, Spud on the Night, Better than Lonzo, Ball. It is Friday, so we'll do Dickhead of the Week. No prizes for guessing who that is this week, actually. We've got some the Unpopular Opinion of the Day in Outback Takehouse, where we're serving up a fine grilled take. And I guess we're doing Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba Award. But with Atlanta going out, we're getting very thin on the ground when it comes to the Aussies. I'll get to that later in the Australian Play Watch. But we're also going to set up Saturday and Sunday's NBA games for you because they are some absolute Barry Crocker shockers. Like, the fact that we're getting these games makes me very, very happy. So we'll set that up for you at the end of the show. So without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 1394 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the Shaq attack!
Or you better watch out for the New York Knicks attack if you're Atlanta. What the hell was that?
What was that? What the hell was that?
That was just... It was a bloodbath. It was crazy. And I guess you better watch out for the Minnesota Timberwolves. An injured Timberwolf is even more dangerous, I guess. They didn't have their dudes and they still waxed Denver. Denver, I've got some questions there. Anyway, let's get into today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Straya with it. Is it some sort of whip around, Jim? Yes. So, I guess, news off the top. Obviously, the Hustle Player of the Year was announced, which is what we're all waiting for. And it was Moose Diabate. And everyone's like, yes, this tracks. Now, what's this award for? Which I very much enjoy. Purely because, like, I don't know, when we just start adding awards and you're like, okay, I guess Moussa Diabate should win the NBA Kia Hustle Award winner. And you're like, okay, so it's his hustle stats that matter. And I guess he did good. So that's certainly something. The cool thing was Dyson Daniels came second. That's nice, ahead of Draymond, Cedric Coward, and Josh Hart. So that's just very nice. The thing that blew me away is that they have apparently been giving away the NBA Kia Hustle Award of the Year since 2016-17. So I've been doing this show since then, and I don't know if I've mentioned that once. Anyway. Other news. I do love that flog. What's his name? Chris Haynes. Who's usually just like a puppeteer for like a battery of different agents. Basically, they place their hands firmly into his rectum and use him as a mouthpiece. Like chat. I do love a good journalist that's like that. It's just, there's nothing better. And when it comes to American sport, like it's just great. We have a plethora of them when it comes to AFL media as well, which makes me very happy because I just giggle. But Chris Haynes was out there going, there's a good chance that Anthony Davis is traded again before next season. That sound you just heard was everyone firing up. Right, here we go. Ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. Oh, duh! I love this sort of reporting. Oh, there's a good chance it'll happen. Are you telling me that there's a good chance that something so fucking bleedingly obvious that the 7-year-old squid could have probably just said, oh, yeah, Dad, there's probably a good chance he gets traded before next year, right? It's like, yeah, you're right, pal. No fucking shit, Sherlock. Jesus. Great job. Great reporting, Chris Haynes. You've covered yourself and your entire profession in glory there. The thing is, that just got me thinking about where would AD fit then? Ooh, that's where it gets a little bit interesting. We can talk about that in the offseason. I don't care about it right now. I did love Matt Ishbia. He's such a weird unit, isn't he? He's like all fidgety, like former basketball player, like Div 1. What did he play for, like Michigan State and stuff, didn't he? He's just a weird unit. And I guess like when you're that rich based on alleged predatory loans, yeah, you've got to have zero conscience and like care about other people at all, like not at all, right? So yeah, you got to be a bit touched in the head at some point, I think, to be like that. So Matt Ishbia is like, yeah, we're never trading Devin Booker. He's our franchise player. I would ride into a fire with Devin Booker, which was weird because why is he riding into a fire? Like you would ride into a fire to save Devin Booker, I guess. I don't know why you would basically volunteer to go into a fire and take Devin Booker with you. That seems like a bad idea. And the antithesis of what you ought to be doing with your franchise player. You should try to keep him as far away from fires as humanly possible. That's how I treat my franchise players. It's like, hey, Devin, you want to go in that fire? And Devin Booker's like, no. And he's like, no, we're going in. What the fuck, Matt Ishbia? Jesus. Keep him away from all open flames is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, and the last little bit, draft reform stuff, all the draft lottery stuff. Look, I was going to hit on this a little bit further today, but I think what we'll do is we'll sort of wait until we get through to the actual voting part of this, because the way that we sort of talked it out, right? The 3-2-1 system where essentially these different tiers of teams have either 3, 2, or 1 lottery balls, basically an 8.1, a 5.4, or a 2.7% chance at winning the lottery, with like the worst teams not being able to drop out of the top 12, that sort of stuff. It does, the more you think about it, basically you just go, yeah, it just means that, yes, people will be trying to like win out of the bottom 3, which is good, but you still haven't really disincentivized losing enough. And you haven't really incentivized winning enough here. And it's just the classic NBA head up your ass kind of spot. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll probably do some more yeah-no's about that next week as we sort of, once they sort of get close to these votes and trying to figure it all out, yeah, then we'll sort of talk about it. Anyway, so that's your Friday news. I guess the other thing was that, no KD for tomorrow's game against the Lakers, which is pretty crazy. Ayo missed today as well, which is pretty nuts. And Franz Wagner, hello, is out for the next Pistons-Orlando game. So, bit of a rough one out there. Anyway, let's do some game wraps. Game wraps. That's right, the Knicks absolutely beat the ever-living shit out of the Atlanta Hawks. 140-89, and it wasn't even that close. Jim, that's a 51-point win. That's a New York Knicks playoff record. That's a franchise record for the highest score. Yeah. And it could have been more. That's how bad Atlanta were. Bloodbath. There was a 39-4 run at one point of this game. And I think it ended up being a 67-13 point run. And like even the commentary team was like, I have never seen anything like this. Like Mike Breen is just like, what is happening? This is... Huh? It was absolutely remarkable. So I think they had the record halftime lead for a playoff game as well. A 47-point halftime lead. It was pretty nuts. They went, I think they scored 83 points in the first half. It was nuts. And it just kept going. Like you had Mitch, the other shit one, Robinson, And Dyson Daniels tossed out when it was 72-22 in the second quarter. You're like, bloody hell. Yeah, so Dyson Daniels and Mitch Robinson have gotten into a couple of times this series. I love it. I think as I tweeted out, look, Dyson's got that Bendigo in him. Look, that's my Shelbyville, being from Ballarat. They are our Shelbyville, where you go to marry your cousins. And Dyson, he has absolutely got that Bendigo. He did not back down once to Mitch. He's like, I will have you. Let's go to the pub. We'll go outside and we'll punch on. Mitch Robinson's like, just do it here. It's like, all right, let's go. So, yeah. Anyway, the largest lead was 61 points. It was crazy. Cat had a triple-double. But that was just absurd. It was the quickest 50-point lead in playoff history, I think. And I think it was quicker than a 40-point lead that anyone had ever gotten in playoff history. So, yeah, it's not bad. I think at one point in the first half, he had OG outscoring the Hawks by himself. So that was pretty good. But basically, that's it. What else do you want to talk about? OG was absolutely incredible. He was hitting all the shots out of the gate. 21-8-6 for Jalen Johnson, but no one else did shit. CJ McCollum, and this is the thing I've been yelling about all this series, right, is the defensive job that Bridges and OG have done on the Hawks and their perimeter scorers like Nicky Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, and then essentially CJ McCollum when they went, all right, let's just change this up a little bit. We'll move Brunson away from this and see what they can do, and they could do absolutely nothing. So, yeah, Kuminga had a nice little hint of a moment there, but that was it. Pack her up, boys. Atlanta, I think this is a really good indication of where they are at. And we talked about this before, could Atlanta just keep winning through the East? Yeah. But they also sort of just got figured out because the Knicks are absolutely perfectly built to go and shut down their perimeter scorers. And there was no other real way that Atlanta could hurt them outside of so the two games that Atlanta win in this series are by 1 point each, right? So it's CJ McCollum going off his head, or that's it. There's no backup plan. And so I think they did a decent job on Brunson. Bridges was horrible until today as well on offense. But Cat was always their ace in the hole for a lot of this. And he was just very, very... He had a triple-double today. What do you have? The 12, 11, and 10. The Jason Kidd triple-double. Brunson had 17 and 8. But they just sort of took a backseat to OG and Bridges hitting every shot they took. And so that was awesome. But this is why the Knicks feel they always felt this entire season, despite all the drama, despite all the bullshit, that they would have a really good crack against anybody, because when you can shut down the perimeter as well as they can, even if you've got Brunson as a bit of a weak link, Cat as a bit of a weak link, you've still got Mitch, you've still got Jose Alvarado, you've still got long wings who you can bring in off the bench and just... if something's not working, there are little bits and bobs that you can do around the edges. And you're like, oh, this is okay. And so, yeah, the 4 games that they win, they absolutely obliterate Atlanta. And the 2 games they lose are quite literally by the lowest possible margin you can have. So I think that's it's a pretty lopsided 6-game series, if you know what I mean. So good job, Knicks. They're through to the semifinals. And the funniest thing is they don't know who they're going to be playing yet. Wop, 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 because Boston lose in Philly. Oh, Lord. This is, I
don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I just don't know.
I just don't know what to do with myself. So I did the show the other day after beers with Chris in the day. We're watching these games and we watched the end of Boston-Philly and you're like, this is just stunning. Right, Embiid changes the entire complexion of the Philly lineup. Didn't expect it to be as well, change it for the, betterment as much as it did, but it did. And then it happened again. And now all the sheer pants-shitting nervousness of the Boston Celtics fans who have spent this entire year going, no, we're fucking fine. Now Derek White can't hit a shot. Now Peyton Pritchard and his bench mob can't hit a shot. Now Jason Tatum is sort of looking a little bit lost again, and you're like, hang on a minute, we don't have any other good players. Right? It's all well and good to paper over the cracks with overperforming role players, and then it turns into nut crunch time, and if they don't fucking show up, guess what? Paul George is over there, and he's very good still. It's also handy that he got a 25 fucking game holiday during the season for reasons. Yeah, not bad. So... this game was nuts. Philly become the 37th team, I think, to force a game 3 after being down 3-1. I still tend to think Boston win this series. This is why you have home court advantage. You get to play the Game 7 on your home court. You feel good about this. But this game for Philly, for me, was all the defense. It was a bit of the Paul George offense, the Embiid offense, and Maxey just fucking carving them up like they're just like Sunday roast. But wow, the Celtics could not manufacture stops, and then at the end, they couldn't manufacture buckets, and Philly just ran away with it. And Boston could never really drag it back in. And Joey Muzz is like, oh, bros, I've taken like a little bit of a break from watching the town fucking 24/7, 7 days a week, right? What I've done is I've decided to actually play my bench dudes, and I'm actually going to sit my starters. And you're like, wait a minute, you're doing it this... This is what you were meant to do at other points, but now you've leaned on the bench dudes too hard, and they've lost the game. And now you don't put your starters back. Oh, geez, Joey Muzz. And these are the cool things about Joey Muzz where you're like, hang on. More cracks that we're seeing here. Anyway, Boston probably still win Game 7, but holy crap, the way that Philly were able to dictate the pace and sort of get a little bit, like just ride that sheer emotion of that feral Philly crowd. I love Philly. They're fucking nuts. They're throwing batteries at Santa like it's just a full vibe. Scum, but certainly a vibe. I love the Sixers. But this was crazy. Like the C's leave the bench mob in to try and like get him back into it. They sort of hang with him, and then it sort of just starts getting away from it, and then it's just gone. Embiid carved it up. He's just like, you know what? I'm a little bit better than Luka Garza, and I'm a little bit better than Vooch. I'm even a little bit better than Namus Cater. And you're like, oh, yeah. So this hobbled together sort of roster that the Celtics have got that's, done very, very well throughout the regular season by just fucking trying harder than everybody. Guess what happens in the playoffs? Everyone's fucking trying hard. So suddenly that lack of top-end class, if Derek White just keeps shitting down his pants leg, it becomes a bit of a gulf when they've got, 3 of the 4 best players in the series. So Tatum's been good. Brown just hasn't been good. And I feel like Brown has just been completely fucking thrown for a loop at this point with the Tatum insertion back into everything. And it's like, who could have seen this coming except for fucking everybody? So yeah, this was a great win by Philly. I fucking loved it. I was cackling with delight on my couch watching this one, just going, I can't believe this is fucking happening. This is great. All I ever want is Game 7s. Game 7s, baby! And especially when it's a Celtics fandom that has built this sort of weird mythology around Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They win the one title. They've only been to one of the finals. And you'd somehow think that they were like, I don't know, the fucking Pippen MJ of the 2020s. And it's just not quite true. So, yeah, it's a bit of a fucking hilarious problem for Celtics fans. And hey, Celtics fans, they understand this as well. That's the best part. The Celtics fans are all just going, Jim, we knew this was coming. Every Celtics fan in my life was like, this is exactly what I thought might happen at some point, and it's happening at the worst time. So, yeah, they understand it. Sixers fans are just fucking giddy. Embiid's like, man, I'm so fucking sick of losing to these bastards. And I'm like, that's awesome. Because you're probably going to get smashed in the second round, but holy crap. If they could somehow win Game 7, look out. But it was kind of weird. This was a strange game because they weren't hitting their threes. Well, they were hitting their threes, and then the threes dried up, and guess what happens then? That's right, Boston lose. So they end up going, 12 of 41 in the end from downtown. 17-11 for Tatum. Brown had 18 points, 5 turnovers on 7 of 17 shooting. Derek White can't fucking buy a bucket. 11 points on 3 of 8. 14 points on 16 shots from Pritch. Better have my money. He went 1 of 8 from 3. And that's it. Sam Hauser has found money usually. But if he's not hitting shots, you've found fucking nothing. Cater. If he's not the backbone of your defense and you realize that Joel Embiid is a fucking 7'2" French Cameroonian US citizen who's about 4 times the size of Cater, and you're like, oh, that could be a problem. And then Garza's like, oh, geez, I look like Lurch and he's going to fucking eat me. So, yeah, Celtics got some problems. Sixers 11 of 33 from downtown, but PEDP was awesome. Yeah, 23, 4 and 3, 5 and 9 from deep. Maxey goes for 30. He shoots 11 to 22. He was great. And this is the problem when you can't throw, like with Derek White's defense sort of just getting a little bit sideways as much as his offense. You're like, Maxi's having a fucking field day all of a sudden. And then you got Embiid in the middle. He had a 19, 10, and 8. Did what he fucking wanted. The only thing is, he's just like, oh, let me shoot another 3. And you're like, don't do that, you idiot. He went 1 of 5 from deep. But anyway, Oubre was the fun one for me in this one. His defense was fucking fantastic. Didn't matter who was like trying to have a crack at. He was just like always causing all sorts of havoc. And they were just fan-bloody-tastic. So 13 turnovers, I think it was, for the Celtics. Let me just check me numbers. But it was absolutely crazy, like when that actually happened. So I think I should actually check those numbers, shouldn't I? Because it was like, it felt like they kept giving up the ball. And yeah, 13 turnovers. They had 7 steals. So did the Sixers, but they out-rebounded them. Both got to the free throw line a little bit, outshot them a bit, but just outworked them. And like the points in the paint stuff was pretty crazy because they're just like, check this out, 42-40, and like Boston win it. The points conceded off turnovers though, 17-14, and you're like, oh, this is just like sheer defensive execution by the Sixers. And that's crazy. Drummond was having a fucking field day as well. He was fun. Grimes popped up for a second. And VJ Edgecombe, 14 points. He only went 1 of 6 from downtown, but wow. Absolute electricity in that building when he's going off. So that was fun as hell. Good job, Philly. You gave us a game 7. I'm excited because every Celtics fan is shitting themselves right now. And then finally, bye-bye, Denver. Bye-bye. See ya. 98-112. They didn't score a field goal for about the last 27 minutes of this game. All numbers approximate, of course. But it was the Denver train wreck offense down the stretch didn't help them much. This game was crazy. The Wolves got out okay. They don't have AO. They don't have Ant-Man, a.k.a. Dadman. They don't have Lonzo. And like Denver should have been out there looking for the kill shot. And the Wolves stuck with them, took the lead, looked really good. And you're like, I don't know what Denver's doing here. Right? Jamal Murray could not buy a fucking bucket. Cam Johnson was actually hitting shots. And if Cam Johnson is hitting shots, you need to be winning this game. The problem is, without Aaron Gordon, Denver's fucked. Like, I guess Peyton Watson as well. Like, those two sort of like the crazy athletic dudes that can sort of hang with Jaden McDaniels and co. There is in no world that the Denver Nuggets should be getting carved up by Terrence Shannon Jr., but that's exactly what happened. He had zero fear, did Terrence Shannon Jr., and he fucked him up. I think, as I said, he was just like looking at Jamal Murray like I look at a Friday froth. It's just like, going to crack that open, get it deleted. It was absolutely fucking wild. So let's have a look at that fourth quarter for the Nugs and just how abysmal it got. Because I think if you look at the actual made field goals, they had a bunch of free throws sort of making it. I think, yeah, Cam Johnson hit a 3 with 5 minutes to go. And I'm pretty sure that might have been their last made field goal for the rest of the game. Because it was free throws, and free throws. That's literally it. So they made 0 field goals for the last 5 minutes of a closeout game. I don't know what to tell you there, Denver fans. That is not great. It's not great at all. Pretty funny. But oh, Lord. I tell you what, this is the thing. It feels like Jokic, he's playing like the entire second half. He just runs out of gas, battling with Gobert all the time. There's a fight in this one as well. But it was like they were still there. It was 57-50 at the half. Denver are down. Wild run from the Wolves. They get up. They stay up. 17-8 run to finish out the second quarter. Denver go on a run. They tie it up as well. But they could never like get the ascendancy. And then Minnesota sort of claw it back. They're back up 6 after some free throws. A few threes early in the fourth, and then suddenly Minnie's still, oh God, what are we doing? And then they get back up 6 with like 9:47 to go. And that's where that weird Jokic shove fight happens with Jalen Clark and like Naz Reid comes in flying out. Don't know how Naz Reid didn't get tossed for escalating it, but whatever. After all that, it's like a 1-point game. Because they get a 1 free throw there. They hit 2 more buckets. And it's 8 minutes to go. It's a 1-point game still after they trade some buckets. And then it all just goes to shit. Naz Reid hits a 3. Terrence Shannon hits a 3. It's a 96-88 lead. 4.5 minutes to go. You get, that's, as I said, that Cam Johnson 3 is the last one to go when there's like 5 minutes left in the game. Murray has a 3 that goes in and out. Jones has an open 3 where it's still a 3-point game after a Minnesota turnover with 3.5 minutes left. He misses the open 3, Spencer Jones. And you're like, fuck, and that one hurts. Randall hits a big bucket. They go back up 5. And that's kind of it. Like, there was a big moment when Murray hits a couple of free throws. It stops the clock. It's 2 free points. They'd missed 5 of the last 6 shots, and then they didn't hit any more. It was like 100-97. Then Terrence Shannon just eats up. He shreds Jamal. Shreds him. And 1, boom. 6-point game, 1.5 minutes to go. Cam Johnson hits 1 or 2 at the free throw line. McDaniels goes, brap, 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 sizes up Jamal Murray, and then steals the ball, and the game's over. And, like, that's it. See you, Denver. That's another year just fucking wasted out of Jokic's prime. Because Aaron Gordon got hurt again. Because Aaron Gordon always gets hurt. It sucks, but that's what happens. And if you can't sort of build around them with, like, reliable players who can actually help defend the rim and play some actual fucking perimeter defense, guess what? You're going to get carved up by a fucking decimated Wolves team. So Jokic still ends up with 28, 9, and 10, 4 turnovers, 1 of 5 from deep. They were happy to let him shoot those. 27 for Cam Johnson, 5 of 10 from 3, but of course misses a couple of big ones late. Classic. Spencer Jones hits 2 threes. Absolute fuck all. Tim Hardaway, the lesser, had 13. But again, defensively is a bit suspect. He's better than Jamal Murray, but yeah, it's just still not great. And yeah, Jamal Murray, 12 points on 4 of 17 shooting. Jesus, he was bad. 4 assists. He had 0 turnovers, but it felt like about 80. And the Wolves just sort of got to ride Jaden McDaniels, just going, fucking check this out. He's 32 points on your head. He was amazing. Shot 13 to 25, 10 rebounds for him, 18, 4, and 5 for Randall. And my beloved Terrence Shannon Jr., 24 points, 6 rebounds, crushes it. Naz has 15 off the bench. Jingles and Rocco are there clapping it up. And your Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Nuggets 4-2. And we'll have the opportunity to go get absolutely more wax than a recent divorcee against the San Antonio Spurs. So let's do an NBA Straya approved performance of the night.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Look, OG Anunoby was absolutely massive in that Knicks game. Absolutely carved it up. Didn't miss a shot. Was outscoring Atlanta by himself for a big chunk of it. He had an amazing series as well. Basically, this is the OG series for the Knicks. He was absolutely phenomenal. He had 29 points today, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, shot 11 of 14. For the series, he shot 61% from the floor, 57% from 3, and averaged 21.5 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 1.2 blocks. Carved it the fuck up. God, he was good in this game. But there is one reason the Minnesota Timberwolves won that game today against the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, honorable mention goes to Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid. Awesome stuff for the Sixers. But Jaden McDaniels, holy shit, man. God, he was good. Absolutely carves up 13 to 25, 32, 10, and 3, 2 steals and a block. And I think the key thing for me was absolutely 0 fucks given. He was like, I will fight him. I will fight him. None of these motherfuckers can guard me. I'm Jaden McDaniels. We don't need Ant-Man. I'm awesome. Check this out. And he took that game over, grabbed it by the scruff of the neck. Terrence Shannon Jr. came along with him as well. He gets an honorable mention for the 24 and 6. He was fucking immense. The and one late was the absolute dagger, but McDaniels, just that one shot that he hit over the top of Jamal Murray, we just sized him, went, you're not guarding me. You put bang over the top of him. Absolutely all-time gangster shit as well. Just like, nah, that's cool. Brap, 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 brap. Got him. All right, how about Spud of the night?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
This one's easy because it's all of Atlanta. Except for maybe Jalen Johnson, but even then. Yeah, that was 7 of 15 for Jalen Johnson. Everybody else is the starters combined to hit 10 of, I want to say, 31. Jesus, that is not great. They shot 31 of 82 as a team, 19 turnovers. Horrible shit. Absolutely. Just calling me Atlanta Spuds after that game. But of course, the other one has got to be Jamal Murray, who has stepped up big time in these big moments. And Doris was absolutely flogging a dead horse. You don't have to worry. Like, Jamal Murray lives for these moments. Like, well, it'd be good if you could fucking hit a shot. 4 of 17, 0 of 2 from 3. There were so many weird, like, I'm going to get to my spot and hit this long-range jumper. It's like, what are you doing, Jamal? Jesus, 4 of 4 at the line. But that was just unbelievable. A minus 18. A team worst minus 18 as well in 40 minutes, which I do love because there's 43 minutes that Jokic played and he was only a minus 9. So those other 3 minutes, oh, jeez, it was disastrous. But yes, Jamal Murray, that was, how you say, not good. He'll be right, though. We've all seen the video. Old mate, no mates.
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 Oh, who's got no mates today? My favourite one might be the Boston fans. So Celtics fans chanting mockingly, "We want Boston," after they go up 3-1. It's like, see, remember when Philly were chanting "We want Boston" at the end of their play-in series? Well, they got Boston, and now we're beating their heads in. So as soon as Boston started mocking the Sixers with their own "We want Boston" chants, Philly have now evened the series at 3-3. Yeah, that's a bit of a old mate, no mates moment. I loved it. Jalen Johnson as well is going to be like, dudes, fucking at least I tried. Jokic, he's going to be like, where the fuck were you today, Jamal? Get some mates, Jokic. And I swear, this is the thing. Jokic just needs that one big, the Aaron Gordon clone, big, tall sort of power forward who can do a bit of rim protection because Jokic's paint defense was, yeah. Don't ever let anyone do the, look, hey, Jokic's defense is underrated. He's a pretty good team. Nah, he was fucking shit all series. They had zero fear about going to the guts of it when Aaron Gordon wasn't there especially. So, yeah, not great. Pantsing of the night. That would be all of Atlanta because they lost by 51. That's, I don't know what to tell you. It's the ultimate pantsing. It's a closeout game and you went 1-2-3 Cancun. Yeah. Also, Terrence Shannon Jr. had a sick dunk over, he went straight around Hardaway and then over the top of Jokic. That was pretty good. Rudy also blocked the bejesus out of a Jokic shot. But, yeah, Atlanta, that's just a collective pantsing of your city, your franchise, your state of mind. It's just all fucked now. Fully pantsed. Better than Lonzo Ball, Ben Simmons, and Bronny James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. I love VJ Edgecombe. Because, as I said, that electricity in the building when he does shit, those Sixers fans fucking love him. And he is just so ready for that moment sometimes. You're like, ooh. So that's like a backs against the wall, down 3-2 at home win. VJ goes for 14 points on 5-11 shooting. He missed just basically all of his threes. He was 1 of 6 from downtown, but he had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 turnovers, and is awesome. As the fourth sort of banana, right? When you've got Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, VJ just filled the gaps perfectly. He and Oubre, it was ideal. The thing is, and I guess this is a bit of the game preview vibe, it just gets a little bit janky, right? When you're trying to sort of project what'll happen in Game 7 because will the rookie rock up? We've already seen Oubre have a game where he hits exactly 0 shots. So Boston probably still have a pretty good crack at winning this Game 7, but still, there you go. What about everyone's favourite? It is Friday. We do a bit of a magic tweet of the week. I have to apologise to the Philadelphia 76ers for thinking the series, capital S, was over after Game 4. Tonight, the Sixers beat the Celtics and were led by the dominant inside play of Joel Embiid. He had 33 points and 8 assists. He had plenty of help from Tyrese Maxey's 25 points, Paul George's 16 points, and Quentin Grimes' 18 points off the bench, which included 4 threes. Grimes also played solid on the defensive end, which helped the Sixers beat the Celtics 113-97. My hat goes off to 76ers coach Nick Nurse, who had an awesome game plan and had his team believing that they could beat the Celtics on the road in Boston. What do we say? Thanks, Magic. Love it. All right, and finally, it's Friday.
Dickhead of the Week!
It's Mitch Robinson. Come on, don't try. Look, you're fucking huge, mate. So first off, settle the fuck down. You're the big fella here. Stop picking on the little fella. It's weird. It's what I have to look. It's actually the opposite of what I have to tell the squids, because the 3-year-old just keeps bashing the 7-year-old. He's just like, basically, he lives by my credo, which is that the human body craves contact. He's like, let's play teddy bear. The teddy bear is the 7-year-old, and that means crash tackling the fuck out of him. Just like, boosh. You're like, Jesus. That's what Mitch Robinson kept trying to do to Dyson Daniels, and I love that Dyson was having absolutely zero fucking bar. He was like, come on, man. Come on. Let's go to the fucking Park Hotel in Bendigo and sort this out, dickhead. Love that from him. So great job by Dyson. Go fuck yourself, Mitch Robinson. I have to fight you. He's on the list. Off we go. All right. Let's do some quick yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do some yeah-nahs. Brought to you by you. That's right, help support the show. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. That basically is our Patreon, right? So if you sign up, you join the Dead Set Legends Club, you get exclusive content. It's very cool and it helps support the show. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Right, yeah-nahs, hold up. Can Philly actually win this series against Boston? Yes, of course they can. Holy shit. So we hit on this the other day. Can they? Yes. Will they? Probably not. They can still win this series. Obviously, it's one game. You just need to go out and beat Boston in Boston. They've already done that. So, the big question simply becomes, will the other guys come along for the ride? Will Embiid have a good game? Can PEDP, not exactly known as the world's greatest playoff performer when it comes to the really nut crunch situations, will PEDP step up? Will Maxey be able to do what he can do? You feel like the championship nous of the Boston Celtics probably comes to the fore. But holy crap, the way the Sixers were playing so well together and defensively, it was just awesome. Yeah, they can. They can win that series. They can win that game. And it's going to be very, very interesting. I don't know what the odds are yet, so we'll do that when we get to the end of the show. But Lord, not bad. Next up. Are Denver cooked? Yeah. Have you looked at their cap sheet for next year? It's fucked. Like, I don't know who they were bidding against for Christian Brown to give him $25 million a year, but it seems, in retrospect, pretty fucking stupid. I don't think Peyton Watson just needs to be re-signed. You've got Tim Hardaway Jr. And, there's just these dudes where you're like, oh, Denver might be a bit cooked. That's not great. Tell you what. Yeesh. Will Atlanta be okay, Jim? Yeah, but I think we hit their limit, didn't we? Right? Of the sort of cobbled together awesome Jalen Johnson story. CJ's fun. Dyson's a weapon. We get that. Nicky Alexander-Walker, most improved player. Great stuff. Love this. But there's that top end that they can't quite hit, it seems. And you do wonder if you just go, all right, fuck it, Giannis. Let's go. Right? Depending on what happens with the draft lottery in a week and a bit, who fucking knows? But I'll tell you what, Atlanta probably just need that one little bit more of an upgrade, and it just sucks that Zachary Risache fucking stinks and is unplayable apparently in a playoff series. So that's not very good, is it? No, Jim, it's not. But yeah, I would probably prefer to be in Atlanta's position than Denver's because I think you've got more options. Like Denver is just paying so much money to so few dudes that this is where it gets real ugly real quick. Is Anthony Davis going to get traded, Jim? Yeah, nah. Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting because you know where he'd be really good? Atlanta. That is pretty interesting, isn't it? He'd also be really good in Boston. But remember, he doesn't want to go there, according to Rich Paul. So, I feel like with the AD stuff, where he's like, hey, man, look, it takes a little while to build shit in places like Washington, and I want to win an MVP. You're not going to win an MVP in Washington, Anthony Davis. So, yeah, pack her up, mate. You're done. How about should the Suns be riding into, I don't know, apparently towering flames with Devin Booker? I mean, it's fine. They just need to get him a point guard. When Booker excels, it's next to Rubio, it's next to CP3. Just help our mans out. Like, what are we doing here? Come on, Ishbia. Don't talk about riding into fire. Just get your man a point guard. You don't need, like, Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker. You've somehow got three dudes who all play the same position. What are we doing here? Anyway, maybe pair him with AD. That'd be good. Actually, that's a really good idea. I love the idea of AD in Phoenix with Booker. That'd probably give him a chance. Look, we all know that you go down to the desert for your twilight years to rehab, to feel better. Grant Hill lasted like an extra 27 years in the NBA because he played in Phoenix. Vince Carter, same thing. Anyway, there you go. Anthony Davis to Phoenix. Love it. In exchange for Jalen Green. Jalen Green is the most Washington wizard that is yet to have wizarded. Except for mate Jordan Poole, who already has wizarded. Anyway, unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I don't know. Denver, as annoying as they were, God, it's annoying that they lost. Because the Timberwolves are going to be absolute roadkill against this Spurs team. The perimeter defense, Wemby up against Gobert. You got this Stafford Tower versus the 7'40" alien French rejection. And yeah, I think the Spurs are going to kill them. Whereas at least Denver, you know that they play the Spurs in very, very fun, tough, weird, chaotic, crazy games. That'd be really fun. Instead, we've got, you know, maybe Ant-Man coming back at some point, but otherwise, yeah, just a bit more depressing, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, let's stick with Denver, a bit of Outback Takehouse. It's Friday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh yeah, 4 for 1 icy cold Foster's Lager oil drum cans. That's right, the cans the size of your bloody noggin, and you can slam it down fast. We got those solo can bits on the end of it, the mouth bits. Slam it down fast. Goes great with the flame grilled take. And today's flame grilled take is, if I was Denver, I'd trade Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, just everything that isn't nailed down that isn't Jokic. I'd be going, right, this has not worked. Like, Jamal had his healthiest season ever and he just sucked. It's like last time this happened, you had at least enough depth around you to make the finals and win them, but jeez. I'll tell you what, you can't trust Aaron Air Gordon. Love him, but he's just never healthy. Cam Johnson is just, I don't know what the opposite of having that dog in you is, but he's got like that cat in him. So, yeah. And then the flip side, I mean, look at the Wolves. They just lean on a Terrence Shannon Jr. and he shreds them. Jaden McDaniels just goes, today I will be the best player on the floor with a 3-4-time Defensive Player of the Year and a 2-3-time MVP. What are we doing here, right? So, just saying, trade them all, rebuild around Jokic as quickly and as best you can with some young, decent talent. You can't do it, but yeah, anyway. Australian Player Watch. This one just hurt your heart. Dyson Daniels got booted from the game today, obviously. Getting into the fight with Mitch Robinson. He'd gone 1 of 3 from 3. That was kind of nice. He had 2 turnovers and a steal. 1 of 4 overall for 3 points. A minus 36 in 15 minutes for Dice. Yeah. Yeah, it was that kind of game. Jeez. So that only leaves us with Matty T obviously being out as well. It leaves us with 2 remaining active Aussies in the playoffs at the moment. That is our man Tyrese Proctor, the proctologist, the doctor. And, he's copping DMPs for the Cavs, but that's all right. And obviously Jingling Joe Ingles, who's out there copping a few DNP CDs as well. But, hey, they're still there. That's all that matters. Nice. All right, how about a bit of an NBA Straya? Do you want to do a Luke Longley Memorial Role Player of the Week award? Because I do. It's my show. I mean, the Andrew Gaze Great MAMBA Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence is pretty easy. It's just what the Knicks did to Atlanta, right? Like, holy
Andrew Gaze Great MAMBA.
Outstanding achievement here.
Excellent. And you set an NBA playoff record for a lead at a half. That's pretty bloody good, right? 47 points at the half is silly. The 51-point final margin is the largest playoff win in the history of the Knicks, so that's pretty good. I think, the previous halftime record was 41, and they're up by 47. Just, that's crazy. So, that's pretty brutal, and, off you go. They smashed him. They absolutely smashed him. That's a lot of excellence. Like, OG just basically not missing shots was pretty awesome. He nearly outscored the Hawks by himself in the first half. It's insane. He was so bloody good. And anyway, there you go. Luke Longley Memorial Award, though. Role Player of the Week. It's Kelly Oubre. Because I feel like he still does some Kelly Oubre shit, right? Today he played 39 minutes. He had 14 points, 6-11, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, but he had 2 steals and 2 blocks. And this is what caught my eye earlier, he was a team leading plus 23. Right? In a game that they won by 13 points, he played 39 minutes and was a plus 23 while he was out there. Those remaining 9 minutes that he didn't play, it's like, geez, got a bit hairy there for a minute. But it's interesting because I feel like Kelly Oubre giveth, Kelly Oubre taketh away, usually. But that's sort of like what you almost need in a role play. Like Terrence Shannon Jr. was the other one I thought about for this, but he's much more of a sort of pop up and just go whoopang out of nowhere kind of dude. So we'll give this to Kelly Oubre, who I sort of hit on this earlier, had a game in this series where he hit exactly 0 shots, which isn't very good. They lost that game. But otherwise, he's gone 10-7, 12-5, 17-6, 2-4, 4-6 in the last game. But his defense in that game where they beat Boston in game 5 was awesome. And he did the same thing in game 6. Because I think the flip side is when you got Boston, who have got the likes of Jordan Walsh as a defensive stopper that can't literally hit even the side of the backboard. And Kelly Oubre is dropping in 14 points in a big win. It makes a big difference. And those are the sorts of guys where you're like, ooh, hang on, what do we got here? Derrick Jones Jr. is very similar in that vein. But as long as he's playing solid defense, God, it makes a difference. So well done, Kelly Oubre. Didn't know if you had it in you. Probably still don't, but we'll find out in Game 7. Speaking of which, let's do some game previews for the weekend. And before we do that, we'll do the Paddy Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. Most of this is just Josh Giddy being at the footy and hanging out with my other good mate, Luke Hodge. Hodgie and Gids. Love that. There's Gids and Dacos. I don't know, for a Hawks fan, he's getting pretty chummy with some of these Collingwood players. Yeah. Anyway, the other good one was I'm going to the Scott Hansen event tonight in Richmond. So if you wake up with NFL Red Zone every week like I do on a Monday morning, it's very exciting, very cool. But he was there last night, got to see the draw between the Pies and the Hawks, which was pretty funny. But anyway, I think I was messaging with mates of mine as well who are in the States. They're like, Scott Hansen's at the footy gym. I'm like, yes, I know. I'm going to go see him tonight. And they're like, God, this is weird. I'm like, yes, that's because you are watching 2 of the single worst broadcasters in the known world, Nick Rewalt and Hamish McLaughlin, chatting to one of the very best broadcasters in the world in Scott Hansen. The gulf in quality is just jarring. And you're like, there's a smart guy surrounded by a pair of absolute morons who can barely string 3 words together to make like half a decent lick of sense. Frustrating. Anyway. Still, let's do some previews. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Very well. I'm going to this Scott Hansen thing tonight, and then I've got to go to see Super Heaven tonight and tomorrow night. I love Super Heaven. If you haven't heard them, and if you're of my ilk, and you don't mind like, I don't know, sort of sludgy-ish, but very melodic-y, kind of, I don't know, I feel like the Menzingers, Violent Soho sort of mixed together. That's kind of what they are. I love Super Heaven. Saw them in New York 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. They released that 2015 album, toured off that, saw them that time as well. And then they basically broke up and they got back together last year. So I'm stoked. I'm super excited to go see them. Super Heaven, super excited. 2 shows, can't wait. Anyway, so if you're going to be there, come say good day. I'm the guy with a big red beard. Right. Game previews. These games are pretty crazy now. What was that, Jim? Well, it's the pointy end, isn't it? We're doing some Game 6s, men. It's very, very, very fun because we go into these, like the Pistons in Orlando desperately trying to close out the series up 3-2. That's the first one tomorrow. Pistons, are they going to have enough? It's so frustrating. Oh, God. But anyway, these are 3 very interesting Game 6s, and all 3 very different. Because the Pistons are favourites in Orlando, and I'm not entirely convinced they ought to be. But, like, essentially the way they won Game 4 was like Paolo went hammer and tongs, Cade went hammer and tongs, Bane came along, Tobias Harris came along, and the Pistons just had enough elsewhere to sort of get them over the hump. Can they do that again on the road? Will their defense actually step up? Will we get a big Jalen Duren game? It just feels like so much of the sort of different questions built into Detroit, it gets so much harder to answer in the affirmative than it does for Orlando. Because Orlando, it's like, will you get a decent Desmond Bane game? Probably. Would you get like Wendell Carter frustrating Jalen Duren and probably still doing a double-double himself? Probably. Will Paolo be all right? It's like he's been very good in some of these games in this series, which is very classically Paolo. Will their role players make a bit of a difference? Will Suggs do anything? Can Anthony Black replicate what he did in Game 5? The plus 3.5 for Orlando is very, very tempting. But doesn't it just sort of feel like this goes to 7? Oh, I don't know. Like for the Pistons to be the 1-8 and to get bundled out in 6 is just going to be devastating. But at the same time, Cade might go off. What else are they going to do? God. I'm going to go Orlando plus 3.5. Wait a minute. I can't do that. Look, no. I have to trust myself. Because remember, what have I said time and time? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, get fucked, Orlando. I'm just sick of picking them and then me being made to look like a dickhead. Well, it's not hard, obviously. But Orlando just being shit and me going, fucking you. So fuck it. I'm just going Detroit. Then we've got Cleveland against Toronto. And the Cavs are 3.5-point favorites in Toronto. Now, obviously, the Raptors have been really, really good at home. Not very good the first 2 games. Probably should have won Game 5 in Cleveland. Until Dennis Schroeder, I am German Toronto, and Mobley took over. So the big question for the Cavs will be, can you get Donnie Mitchell and James Harden just doing their usual thing in a Game 6 on the road? Unfortunately, the usual thing for James Harden in a Game 6 on the road is shitting down his pants legs. So, yeah. I'm going to go the Raps here as well, plus 3.5. Game 7, baby! And then Lakers Rockets. You know what I'm doing? Don't do it to them, Jim. Don't do it. I'm going the Rockets. They're actually favorites, minus 3.5 against the Lakers. I am fascinated, actually, though. I feel like the Lakers having Reeves back, it might go in the same way that the Sixers having Embiid back went, right? The first game, it just feels a bit janky. They spend most of their game trying to figure out how to fucking do this shit all over again. And then the next game, it all just sort of clicks and they're like, wait a minute, it is good to have another player who can score more than 16 points is not named Marcus Smart. So, yeah. So the plus 3.5 is pretty interesting for the Lakers, but on the road in Houston, I kind of feel like this is going to go 7 as well. Right? For all the bellyache I had yesterday about LeBron being the first one to blow a 3-0 series lead, I think the Lakers could punk him, but Houston is just, there's so much talent on that team. I think they eke out a close one. I might take the Lakers plus 3.5 to give me just that 3.5 point cushion. And the Rockets might win a really, really close one. No KD, we know that. But I think they've been okay without him. So, yeah. So I think we're going to go Detroit minus 3.5, Raptors plus 3.5, Lakers plus 3.5 for tomorrow's games. And then Sunday, Game 7, baby! Philly, Boston. The Celtics are 7.5 point favorites in Boston. And you might be wondering, geez, Jim, that's a bit full on considering that Philly have won 2 games there already. That's right. Philly have won more games in Boston this postseason than Boston have. That's not good if you're Boston, is it? I still reckon Boston win this, but I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the plus 7.5 for Philly. I think I worry more about their role players sort of traveling and performing well in Boston in a Game 7. I think we get it like a crazy bit of a throwback Tatum Brown game. And the Celtics probably just pull one out. Very similar, I reckon, to Game 3. What was that, like 108-100? So I'll take the 7.5 for Philly and Boston win it by around 6. What do you reckon? Because I still feel like they'll probably figure out something to do with Embiid. Paul George, don't know how he's going to go on the road. Maxey, again, they can just try to slow him down that little bit and I think they can win. But I think I'll take the points with Philly. Yeah, sounds good. Good, great, that's it. And then I reckon might pop up again on... Oh, there's no games on Monday, I think, for the minute. So I don't know when they're going to schedule those Game 7s. I think they might pop up on the Monday. So if we get some Game 7s out of Detroit, Orlando, Cleveland, Toronto, Lakers, Rockets, we might pop back up on Sunday night to set you up for those. Sound good? Good, great. All right, but there you go. That is it. What a week it has been. Pretty crazy one, obviously. So thank you for bearing with us, as per usual. Appreciate you. We will be back on Sundays or Monday, depending if there's any Game 7s or not. But in the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on the socials. Twitter, Facey, IG, Twitter. No, I already said that. TikTok, that's the one. YouTube. All the good stuff. Get around Footy Unfilterated. It's myself and Jez each week talking our trash. Unstoppable at times. It's very fun. I love doing Footy Unfilterated. NFL Straya, I'm going to hang out with Gaz tonight. We're going to the Scott Hansen thing. That's going to be fun. And then Jim does Supercoach. The AFL Supercoach show came out yesterday, so go check that out if you need any more tips. Rate, review, star, subscribe, all of those shows on your podcast app over on YouTube. Jump in the comments, say g'day, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. You know what to do. It's 2026. Obviously, buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. If you want to shout me a coffee or a beer, help support the show, keep the lights on. You also join the Dead Set Legends Club and you get exclusive content. So we're working on the next one right now. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song, They Rule. So to House Hats, Josh De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Goldmine, what am I saying? Jeez, had a stroke halfway through there. Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Goldmines, Ram Shakalami, who are playing Scarfighter 2 at the Bendigo Hotel, May 9 in Collingwood. I'll be there early and late. I've got Deftones in the middle, so that'll be good. Go check them out. iOS section, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on the show, so smash them all on your music streaming platform of choice. NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you. That's it. We'll throw a Cooking with Bainesy on the back end of the audio one for you, and we will catch you probably on Sunday night, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would you? And later, hosen.